Dear student, welcome to the second installment of my little course, The 12 Days of Christmas. My name is Charlotte Prudent, and this course is here to teach you a few things about British culture and traditions, especially during this time of year. So yesterday we were talking about the novel by Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol, and today is going to be a little bit different compared to reading text from the 19th century. Today we're going to focus on more contemporary media. Today we're looking at Last Christmas, a song by the band Wham that was released in the 1980s. Don't worry, I will not be singing much. But the reason why I chose this is, for two reasons actually. The first, the band Wham is an English band, and two, because this song is actually very rich in terms of the vocabulary that is used, especially in the case of phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions. So I know a lot of you at home have sort of a love-hate relationship with phrasal verbs, so I hope that this video will hopefully at least increase your knowledge of some of them. Okay, as for the idiomatic expressions, these are things you have to learn in context. So with all the words and phrases that we look at today, I will try to give you some examples for each one. So without further ado, let's get to it. I'm going to start by reading out the chorus. So the chorus is that part of the song that repeats itself multiple times, and after that we will be breaking down the verses, okay? So let me start with the chorus. Last Christmas I gave you my heart, but the very next day you gave it away. This year, to save me from tears, I'll give it to someone special. So let's start with the first phrasal verb, to give something away. To give something away is to give something without payment, to give something for free. So during Christmas, many people often give away things like clothes, toys, and non-perishable foods to homeless shelters and charities. So to give something away is actually synonymous with donating something. However, in the song, to give away has the meaning of discard. You don't want something anymore, so you simply leave or abandon it. You are not donating, you are throwing something away. Okay? Another context in which we could use to give something away with this definition is you had the opportunity to get a fantastic job, but you just gave it away. All because you refused to get up on time, you threw away the chance to get a stable income. Right, next phrasal verb, to save someone from. To stop someone or something from being hurt, injured, or destroyed, or in some cases killed. In the song, the narrator is saving himself from tears. He's saving himself from another heartbreak and the emotional pain that it causes. But we could also think of other more concrete examples of to save someone from. For example, in environmental disasters, rescue teams can save local inhabitants from floods, forest fires, or hurricanes. Another example could be when we talk about social injustices. A person can save their friend or work colleague from being bullied, from being harassed by reporting it to a superior, a manager or a senior member. In all these cases, you are using to save someone from in the sense of defending them, protecting them from physical or emotional harm or damage. Okay, let us continue. We're going to read our first verse, and it goes something like this. Once again, I'll put on my best British voice for this. Once bitten and twice shy, I keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. Tell me, baby, do you recognize me? Well, it's been a year. It doesn't surprise me. Our first idiomatic expression, once bitten and twice shy. So the way to explain this is imagine that you have had a seriously terrible experience with your neighbor's chihuahua. You've seen this cute little dog and you've wanted to pet it, but the dog did not like the look of you and decided to bite your ankle. The next time you see this adorable chihuahua, are you going to want to try and pet it again? Nah, I didn't think so. So of course not. So once bitten, twice shy is essentially when you've had a bad experience, you've learned your lesson, and you're not going to repeat the situation again. I don't know if any of you have watched the film Bridget Jones' Diary, but in the sequel, she travels to, I think, Thailand, and she has to spend multiple days in a Thai jail for drug trafficking. It all goes well, you know, she's released, but it's probably going to be a long time before she decides to make such a trip again or associate with certain people that she met on that trip. So once bitten, twice shy, she has learned her lesson, and now she is doubly cautious of the possible consequences. The last example I have for this expression, once bitten, twice shy, I have a friend called Robbie who has asked me to lend him £100, but you know what? He still hasn't paid me back yet. Instead, he's asked me if I can lend him another 50. Well, once bitten, twice shy, meaning I'm not about to give him any more money. In colloquial English, we leave out the second part of the idiomatic expression. For example, we could just say once bitten and everyone would understand the rest of the sentence, well, because it is so well known. Also in the case of the expression every cloud has a silver lining, we can basically use it in the same way. If people don't know this expression, it's in negative situations, there's always a positive aspect. There's always, you know, a spark of hope. But instead of saying every cloud has a silver lining every time you're in this situation, you can simply say every cloud. I'll give you an example of this. Losing my job was pretty devastating, but every cloud. The experience pushed me to realize what I really wanted to do in my life, and now I'm taking a graphic design course to go freelance. Every cloud. There's no need, especially in colloquial conversations, to say every cloud has a silver lining. Okay, let's move on to the next part. I keep my distance, but you still catch my eye. To catch someone's eye. If something catches your eye, it means that it draws your attention. For example, during Christmas shopping, many glittery, sparkling items in the shop windows may catch your eye. They may draw your attention. So to summarize the song, even though the narrator has promised himself not to return to a failed relationship, you know, once bitten, twice shy, in order to save himself from, you know, emotional pain and distress, he still can't help but feel attracted to his ex-partner. Let's move on to the next verse. Happy Christmas. I wrapped it up and sent it, with a note saying, I love you, I meant it. Now I know what a fool I've been, but if you kissed me now, I know you'd fool me again. In this verse, the word fool is both a noun, to be a fool, but it is also a verb, to fool someone. So, to be a fool is to be someone who is silly, who does not act sensibly, but to fool someone, the verb, this means to trick or to deceive someone. So let's try to use these two meanings of fool in the same sentence. The con man fooled me into believing that I had won the lottery and stole my bank details. Now I feel like such a fool. So here, he fooled me, he tricked, he deceived me, and I feel like such a fool. I feel stupid. I feel like an idiot. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next verse, and it goes a little bit like this. A crowded room, friends with tired eyes. I'm hiding from you and your soul of ice. My God, I thought you were someone to rely on. Me? I guess I was a shoulder to cry on. So here we can imagine that there is a Christmas party where the narrator is trying to hide from his ex at all costs. To rely on someone means to see someone as dependable, someone you can trust to do the right thing. But obviously in this context, this person is disappointed because their ex-partner was someone who they couldn't trust. Another example could be, you can't rely on Max to do anything. He promises to complete the work and then at the last minute says he hasn't had time. So in this case, obviously, if you've relied on someone like Max to do the right thing, to do something correctly, and they have not done it, well, you are unlikely to rely on them again. Once bitten, twice shy. The next part. I guess I was a shoulder to cry on. To be a shoulder to cry on means to be a person who gives support and sympathy to others, especially when they are not feeling great, they've had a bad time. So if we were to talk about the definition of a friend, it is to be a shoulder to cry on when their other friends have had problems, for example, relationship problems. They are there to listen, they are there to sympathize. Okay, let's look at the last verse. How does it go? A face of a lover with a fire in his heart. A man undercover, but you tore me apart. Ready for the singing part? Ooh, ooh. Now I've found a real love. You'll never fool me again. Okay, so now the first two lines of this last verse have had multiple interpretations, especially when the lead singer, George Michael, came out of the closet as homosexual. To come out of the closet is an expression which means to reveal your sexual preferences. So for that reason, some people thought a man undercover made reference to the singer's closeted homosexuality. However, others believed it referred to his secret lover who could not be revealed to the public. Or maybe it is simply the fact that the narrator has hidden his true feelings from the person he liked for so long that when he finally revealed his love and got rejected, it broke his heart. There are three different interpretations. You obviously can be the judge. It is completely subjective. So let's continue. A man undercover, but you tore me apart. To tear someone apart. Not tear, tear. To tear someone apart is to destroy someone or something, to rip into pieces. So if we look at the way that the verbs run, to tear is the present, tore is the past, and torn is the participle. So to have torn. So tear, tore, torn. Another example of the verb to tear. A war can tear a country apart. Or in the case of what happened in the UK a few years ago, fox hunting has been banned in the UK due to the perceived cruelty of having a fox or any other wild animal being torn apart by hunting dogs. So now fox hunting is illegal. Okay, there we have it. That is the end of the song Last Christmas by Wham, the story of unrequited love and the fear of falling in love with the same person again. So here we have quite a long list of phrasal verbs and idiomatic expressions that you can use hopefully in your speaking and your writing. So as you know, every video ends with a quiz. This quiz has the format of one of the Cambridge exams. It is actually the cloze text, the gap fill text. So you read it and there are these little gaps. You don't have any multiple choice here. You have to decide from the context what word would be the most appropriate to fit into this gap. The good news is that these gaps, the phrase itself is either a phrasal verb or an idiomatic expression. So let's see how much of it you know. I will obviously move to the second slide to give you the answers, and don't forget to give your comments below to tell me how you did. Okay, so the topic of this quiz is, a bit of a heavy one, breakups during Christmas. Let's go through it. Christmas is often seen as a time for joy and togetherness, but for some it can bring 1. The end of relationships. While some couples try to put on a brave 2 in order to save themselves, 3. The pain and sadness of spending Christmas alone. For others, the pressure to live, 4. To expectations, ordeal, 5. Family issues can tear relationships, 6. Experts highlight the fact that it is important to avoid hiding, 7. The reality of the situation. Reaching, 8. To friends and family can help lift the spirits and remind the person affected that every 9 has a silver lining, and with a new perspective it will be easier to move, 10, rather than dwell on the past. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the second slide to see the answers. The end of our class for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please stay tuned for our video tomorrow, where we will be exploring the wonderful world of food. Now I know what you're going to say, but British people can't cook. Well, they can cook. Once every year they can cook. So once every year at this time of year, we all turn into Michelin star restaurant cooks. Really, we are fantastic at cooking, but just this time of the year. So we'll be looking at British gastronomy for Christmas dinner. And yeah, I hope I might even inspire you in your own kitchens, if that's possible. But anyway, please have a wonderful Christmas holiday or holiday in general, and see you tomorrow. Bye!